Miss Sarah here, and today I wanted to recommend some picture book biographies about inventors to help you celebrate Inventors Day on February 11th. The first book I'd like to recommend is Woodwire Wings, Emma Lillian Todd Invents an Airplane by Kirsten W. Larson. In this book, we meet Lillian, who loves to invent things. While working in the U.S. Patent Office in the early 1900s, she becomes fascinated by airplanes, and so do a lot of other inventors at this time. But many of the inventors were creating fantastical designs. Lillian wanted to create a practical airplane, so she tested out her designs by using scale models before eventually building a full-sized airplane. After a successful test flight in 1910, Lillian became the first woman to successfully design an airplane all on her own. My next book is also about a female inventor. It's called Hedy Lamarr's Double Life, Hollywood Legend and Brilliant Inventor by Lori Walmark. Hedy Lamarr was a famous Hollywood actress in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s, but what many people don't realize is she was also an amazing inventor. During World War II, Hedy and a musician friend, George Antheil, designed an improved guidance system for torpedoes that used a technology called frequency hopping spread spectrum. Now, this technology is still used today in computers and cell phones to help these devices securely talk to one another. So, while Hedy Lamarr may be remembered as a Hollywood legend, her impact on today's technology is pretty legendary. My next book is about another inventor who's also well known for their work in the arts. It's called Guitar Genius: How Les Paul Engineered the Solid Body Electric Guitar and Rocked the World by Kim Tomsick. In this book, we learn how a young Les Paul saved his paper route money to buy his first guitar. Then he began to invent things that would help improve his music. He created a device that would record and allow him to play back his music, as well as creating a microphone by wiring a telephone to a radio. But his most well-known invention was the solid body electric guitar, which changed the sound of popular music. Les Paul is known as both a famous musician and a famous inventor, who was not only inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but also the National Inventors Hall of Fame. The next book I'd like to recommend is The Boy Who Thought Outside the Box, the story of video game inventor Ralph Baer by Marcy Wessels. Young Ralph Baer loved to invent things. After his Jewish family moved to the U.S. in 1938, Ralph became fascinated by radios and televisions. While working at a television lab, he got the idea that television sets could be used to play games, but it took him a long time to convince other people that this was a good idea. The first video game console was sold in 1972 based on Baer's designs and has remained popular ever since. Finally, the last book I'd like to recommend is Whoosh, Lonnie Johnson's Super Soaking Stream of Inventions by Chris Barton. As a boy, Lonnie loved to build rockets and grew up to be an engineer at NASA. While working on an improved design for a refrigerator, Lonnie came up with the idea for a super soaker, but like Ralph Baer, it took him a long time to convince other people that it was a good idea. But Lonnie just kept trying, and when he finally sold his invention to a toy company, it became a huge success. Lonnie then used the money he made with the Super Soaker to fund even more inventing projects. We hope you've enjoyed our recommendations for picture book biographies about inventors. Inventor stories are great opportunities to see how people have solved problems in new and creative ways, as well as how they kept on trying, even after failures. If you have a picture book biography about an inventor that you'd like to share, be sure to leave us a comment. Bye!